All right, let's bring in Lara Trump, the RNC co-chair. So far, so good, right?
Thank you. Yes, so far, so great. I think we've had an awesome convention. We had an amazing team here. First convention in 8 years, guys, if you think of that. And
That's
so
right.
We felt a lot of pressure, and I hope we delivered.
Okay, what happens today?
Today's the big day. Today is the day that Donald Trump will officially accept our party's nomination to be the nominee for president. And as everybody's been talking about, he wrote a new speech. I think you're going to hear something from Donald Trump tonight that maybe people aren't expecting. And I think the country should get ready.
You know, Lara, talk about the mood of the family, because I've noticed a difference. I've noticed a difference in Don, Eric, the president. There seems to be this calmness, this gratitude as well to the people and American people that are supporting the family. Talk about, this happened before the convention. So you guys had to change things as y'all had been planning for months to fit that mood. How did that go?
Well, it's kind of amazing, Lawrence. It was really a natural thing. And I give my father-in-law all the credit. He's the one who said, actually, we will not postpone the convention. Everything will go on as planned. And we didn't actually give any directive to anyone in terms of their speeches or what should happen. I think people naturally understood the moment. And we all in our family changed our speeches. I pretty much totally changed mine, including my father-in-law. But all of the speakers here, I think you heard that they had the right tone for that moment. And so I think it's been amazing to see. And we are so grateful that we are here able to celebrate instead of have the opposite happen. And it's unthinkable for so many of us.
So Van Jones said a bullet couldn't stop Trump. A virus stopped Biden. Biden is diagnosed with COVID, mild symptoms apparently, had to get on the plane, isolate himself in Delaware. He is taking Paxlovid, and we wish him the best. But Joy Reid said this, comparing what Joe Biden is going through with COVID to Donald Trump almost being assassinated. Listen.
Unbelievable.
Donald Trump is an elderly man who, for whatever reason, was given 9 seconds to take a iconic photo op during an active shooter situation. Weird situation. We'll figure that out one day. But his survival of that and bouncing right back and going right to his convention is being conveyed in the media world as a sign of strength. This current president of the United States is 81 years old and has COVID. Should he be fine in a couple of days, doesn't that convey exactly the same thing? That he's strong enough, older than Trump, to have gotten something that used to really be fatal to people his age.
Exactly the same thing, Lara.
That's honestly, it's unbelievable. It's disgusting. Someone tried to kill my father-in-law. There was a bullet that came within millimeters of taking his life. Those two things are completely unrelated, obviously. And it wasn't just that people are trying to make it look like strength. That was strength. That was a moment Donald Trump knew he had to get up, and not just get up and walk off stage, but put his fist in the air for the country to say we will be okay, to show our adversaries around the world America is not weak. When I am back in office, you will see strength from the United States again. That is absolutely.
But it made it sound like she was suggesting that the Secret Service gave him 9 seconds for that iconic
absurd,
photo.
Steve. It's absolutely absurd. He got up. He had to get ushered off the stage, hustled off by Secret Service, and he took 1 second to pump his fist to the crowd and to the United States of America. It's ridiculous.
So, I mean, by the way, they maybe pulled the wrong show off the air. Maybe Morning Joe should have left. And
Talk
maybe
about lowering the temperature.
Yeah, it's unbelievable how irresponsible. I just think you turn off the American people. It's not about, I can't put it into words. So at the same time that you guys are coming together, by all reports, and this is even Charles Blow in the New York Times, the most radical left-wing columnist even notices this. As you guys come together, I've never seen any party fall apart like this, literally fall apart. I don't know if you've been following it because you're so busy, as well as speaking, but President Biden now has all the leadership telling him to drop out. He has done interview after interview, and each time he's screwing up, including forgetting the Secretary of Defense's name and the Supreme Court justice he appointed. And now you have a situation where I am not sure today who your father-in-law will be facing in November.
Yeah, well, and quite frankly, to us at the RNC and Trump campaign, it doesn't really matter. Whether it's Joe Biden, whether it's Kamala Harris, who, by the way, is the only person who can actually inherit the money that they've raised for their campaign, or anyone else, our message will continue to be, you had 4 years of Donald Trump. You have to look back at how he impacted your life, at how much better off you truly were. And he is laying out a vision for the future of this country that includes all Americans, to make all Americans' lives better. So we will continue to echo that message across the country. I believe Joe Biden also forgot that a Secret Service director is actually a woman and not a man. So he's got a lot of problems.
He said, I've talked to him. I talk to him something like all the time.
And but it is.
He also forgot the defense secretary's name.
Yes, they have a lot of problems. So, I would say I've never seen the Republican Party this unified.
Are you worried about who you might face, being that there's such an unknown? Could it be Mark Kelly, Governor Shapiro? Is it going to be Kamala Harris?
I'm sure whoever they are thinking and may take up that spot, they have put a lot of strategy behind it, but I don't think it matters. I think whenever you see that it feels like God spared Donald Trump's life for a reason, he has certainly given him another opportunity here. And I think the American people see that. I think Donald Trump felt that. I think you'll hear that tonight in his speech. And I think as this campaign goes on, it will become more and more apparent to even people who maybe never gave Donald Trump a chance that this is the person who needs to lead our country. And so it really doesn't matter, Brian, who they put up.
So, Laura, what do you think is going behind the scenes? It looks like Barack Obama and Nancy Pelosi are leading the charge behind the scenes. Apparently, Nancy Pelosi said in a private a private conversation with Biden, that the polling shows that the president cannot defeat Trump and that Biden could destroy Democrats' chances of winning the House in November and continue, if he continues to seek a second term. So what's happening? I mean, they told us that it was Russian disinformation, that there were cheap fakes that were going on, and now everyone is turning on him.
Well, I think we all saw that same debate, Lawrence, right? That debate really showed the American people they've been hiding the Joe Biden that so many of us have seen and kind of tried to call out and say, hey, this is problematic. This is the president of the United States. We all saw the same debate. They cannot hide him anymore. And even though they've tried to do cleanup, Brian, you were just talking about the interviews they've tried to put Joe Biden through. These are scripted, essentially taped interviews, pre-taped interviews. He can't even get through those. I'm sure they are in panic. I'm sure they want a different candidate. I'm sure they are upset that Joe Biden is the one they have. Now, he said he's not dropping out, but he is obviously getting a lot of pressure.
You believe he's going to be the nominee? Do you believe that at the end of the day, it's going to be Donald Trump versus Joe Biden, or do you think someone else is on the ticket?
I think Joe Biden has been very emphatic that he's staying in this. That said, he has a lot of pressure on him, so I really wouldn't.
Right, so let's talk a little bit about the pressure. You know, as the co-chair of the RNC, you can't run for president if you don't have people giving you money. Unless your father-in-law is a billionaire, which is very handy. Joe Biden is not a billionaire. But Jeffrey Katzenberg, who is the co-chair for the Biden campaign, has reportedly told the current president, everybody's closed their checkbooks. So going forward, he looks at the polls. 1/3 of the people who voted for him, only 1/3, think he is mentally fit. So he's lost the rest of the country. He's lost the checkbook. He's just got the family there in the beach house right now, socially distancing probably, saying, don't quit, because if you do, we're out of a house.
Yeah, and that's very problematic, Steve, for the country, because we should want people in office and people leading this country who actually have the best interests of America at heart. And it really feels right now to a lot of people like the only reason Joe Biden is continuing on and the only reason that anyone would think that he is a person who should be president is maybe for their own fulfillment. And maybe this is a family issue
protect
and not
the family.
about the country. Correct. And that's a big problem.
Have you seen the president's speech, the new speech?
I have not.
Word is he's not even going to mention President Biden.
Well, if I could give him advice, I would say that that's probably smart. And I think that what you've kind of heard here at this convention is that it hasn't been about attacking the Democrats or Joe Biden as much as it has been about the positivity that you've really felt at this convention, the forward motion for this country and the future vision for America. I mean, my gosh, we had J.D. Vance, our vice presidential nominee, on that stage last night, talk about the future of the Republican Party, the message he delivered, the way he, I think, connects with the average person out there, his story, his background. That's what we wanted to showcase here, and I think that's what you have gotten out of this convention.
Well, Lara, you've done a great job. Congratulations.
Thank you.
One more day and
One more
you can
day.
sleep.
Yeah, thank
Maybe
you.
for a day or two.
No, not until November 6th.
Right.
You had about a week to prepare for it. So.
Yeah.
I know. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
God bless you.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.